You see, this is what happens when you put that type of energy out there. Drake is now being sued from photographer Gabriel Galimberti. Not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but supposedly this image right here that Drake had in his video, What Did I Miss? He's saying that it infringes on his work. You know, it's the scene right here with all the guns that are laying on the floor. And basically, I believe, since I've read a little bit about this photographer, that his work is basically, I wouldn't say clowning, but kind of just talking about the infatuation that Americans have with gun culture, which I have said this plenty of times. I mean, you notice this when you travel to other countries. A lot of foreigners will say, why are Americans so violent? This is kind of true. Like, we do have this infatuation with guns. You got all these people that are arguing on social media all day about, my Second Amendment and my right to bear arms and all this stuff. I have the right, and it's just like, come on, man. A lot of y'all out here training like you about to be Jason Bourne or some kind of secret CIA agent. And it's like, man, a lot of y'all ain't never been in a fight, but you want to carry around, all these guns as if you need to protect yourself. It's just ridiculous, some of these people out here. Now, I understand if you're in a certain type of line of work, like law enforcement or something like that, or maybe you've had something unfortunate happen to you to where now you feel like you need to carry protection. I understand that. But some of these people that have never been in a fight before but feel that they need to carry all these weapons and firearms make no sense to me whatsoever. So this is the image that's in question right here. And I believe the artist's work that you could see. I mean, maybe we could even do. Yeah, here's the image. Here's the image right here that Drake obviously copied. I mean, they got all the rifles and the guns and everything. Just wow, even the bat right there. It's just basically talking about American culture. So this is the photo right here that Drake possibly allegedly took. This is some of his work right here. I like this one right here. This one right here is just Texas to the full, man. The Lone Star State. This one right here is really good. It's just interesting to see that these rappers and these artists probably look at these books, they look at these pictures, and this is where they get their inspiration from. Now, this right here, I'll talk about later, but I used to date a woman who was like this. She couldn't even hurt a fly carrying a bunch of guns like this. It was just ridiculous when I saw this. Let me tell you something, man. If you see a female like this, red flags. But yes, this is exactly true of what American culture is all about in some way. I mean, just look at some of the guns that are on the wall here. It's just interesting. Let's see if we can zoom in here. I'm gonna look at some of these rifles right here. That's crazy. That's crazy that you could think that some people will actually carry some things like this in their house. Yeah, here we go with this one. So this is like a book that I guess he did. And I read about this book. And this book is basically saying that this artist, he's just kind of making fun of, in a way, of American culture and how people, especially women, if you notice a lot of these pictures have women in it too, which is kind of interesting, how they're just so infatuated with guns and families and stuff like this. What's funny too is that and look, this guy's wearing the Captain America shirt too. What's interesting too is that they always say like, beware of this country or don't go to this country. Like when I went to Mexico and places like that, people be like, oh, watch out. It's real dangerous up there. It's real dangerous. But you know what? America is kind of dangerous too. It's kind of a dangerous country too. Look at this picture right here with the family and all the guns just laid out. It almost does kind of make you think that, I mean, just look at the imagery right here. This is like a very dark picture in a way. What's also very interesting too about this photographer is that this is also the photographer who did, look, another female with a bunch of guns. This is also the photographer who did the Balenciaga campaign with the children and, you know, the accusations of Balenciaga glorifying PDFing and all that stuff. So it's kind of interesting that this is the photographer who's suing Drake, who got accused of being a PDF by Kendrick Lamar. It's just so ironic. But like I said, man, Drake, you shouldn't have done the lawsuits, man. Now look at what happened. Look at these pictures, man. Yeah, man, I really went and I analyzed what's going on here. This one's kind of notice how it's a lot of women with guns wearing like the American flag or rocking USA colors. Another family photo with guns. Symbolic, man, symbolic. It almost makes me want to read this book. Now, if this isn't a jab at the United States more than any other photo I've ever seen, I don't know what to tell you. So then let's go back to Drake's image. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. I don't know if you can really sue for that, but as I've mentioned before, Drake, you see, you started suing all these people and trying to sue UMG and making all this noise, and now look at you. Now you're getting sued. You see what I'm saying here? It's just like, y'all gotta watch out with the energy that you put out there. So let me see what Billboard is reporting on this. A new lawsuit claims Drake What Did I Miss music video ripped off the work of Italian photographer. Of course, he's not from America. And in a strange twist, that the rapper was intentionally trying to connect his feud with Kendrick Lamar to the controversial Balenciaga campaign. So that's why I guess he's saying that he's suing him. The copyright infringement complaint filed against Drake on Wednesday in federal court alleges a key sequence in the What Did I Miss video lists from a photograph in Gabriel Galimberti's 2020 book, The Ameriguns. Both Galimberti's photo and the scene in question show men standing outside houses surrounded by firearms laid out in parallel around swimming pools. So like I said, this is the same photographer who was in question for Balenciaga. So he looks like he's a guy that likes to do a lot of controversy or controversial photographs. Ameriguns, the Ameriguns. What an interesting title. If that's not a jab at the United States, I mean, but look, this is why sometimes it's good to travel so you can see how other countries feel about us. They not like us. They not like us. Yeah. So, yeah, man, as I mentioned here, it definitely looks like Drake definitely took from this image.